Hello everyone, this is Super Comic Girl and welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'm going to be talking about things I have learned in the year that I have started collecting comics, and I am going to give you a complete number of how many comic books that I actually have. So in my living room I have probably about 4 long boxes for my comic books, and these are all in colorful, type of things. And what I actually did was I actually labeled them like what number they were, so that when I was adding more comic books to my boxes, that I would know for certain what order these boxes were. Like, for example, I had a crate. This was my first container that I used for my comic books, and I ended up transferring them over to a smaller box. So what I actually did, this took a lot of time. I did it on my day off because I didn't have time, but I divided them up for like DC, Marvel, and Independent. And all of you've seen all my videos where I show you all my comics I get. So now that I have them separated, what I actually do is I actually go and I actually just put them, in whatever box. And as soon as that box fills up, I have another box and I label them what company that what publishing company that they're going to be a part of, or they are a part of, and I put it in there. And then after a while I stand them up and all that. Getting these issues has not been as difficult as I thought it was going to be, mainly because most of my issues I got from the comic book shop, so I can just go and pull a couple issues out and pay for them. A vast majority of my comic books have come from eBay. And the thing I have learned about comic book pricing is if they're triple digit comics, they're not going to cost so much money to actually buy. If I go into more of like the double digits or the single digits, then that's when I run into issues. So for example, I have been putting money aside for something that is super important to me, has nothing to do with comics, and I think I'm like $50 short of it. So I'll get that. I'll be getting that taken care of pretty soon. I'll be so happy to get that bill taken care of. So what basically I'm doing is, after that's over and done with, then I'll be able to really buy more comics. But yeah. So my favorite Marvel character is the Amazing Spider-Man. I absolutely love Spider-Man. And the reason I love Spider-Man is for 2 reasons. 1, he was my father's favorite comic book character. And 2, I just like his story and his origin and how he was bullied. It reminds me so much of myself growing up, being bullied, and everything. And so I really relate to Spider-Man more than I relate to any of the other Marvel characters. Now, I do get, you guys know, I do buy the Fantastic Four, but a vast majority of my money has gone towards Spider-Man because I just love that character. The whole Edge of the Spider-Verse thing that happened not a couple months ago, but several months ago, I am not talking about that. But Spider-Man as Peter Parker, I love Miles Morales as Spider-Man as well. But Peter Parker, the OG Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man, the chosen Spider-Man, is my favorite character. And I just really, really love it. And I've really loved the, the Spider-Man from the 60s and the 70s and even the 80s. And I'm going to be absolutely honest, I was writing these numbers down of issues that I have. And then I would go on eBay and I would look them down and I would double check my list, and then it's like, okay, I don't have that issue, I'll put that in my cart. Oh, I don't have that issue, put it in my cart. One time I bought 50 copies of Spider-Man for well over $100. And my brother was kind of like, what the heck did you, So I would go on this one person's site and I would check his Spider-Man, and as soon as I saw an issue, I didn't have click, 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 but I always made sure that I took care of my bills. But another thing that I have learned is sometimes Spider-Man comics are not really thick. So you all remember this one that I showed you guys in October. I absolutely did love this issue. I thought it was really awesome, and everything. It really kind of gives me the impression that they really weren't into big, thick issues. And then, of course, I had to buy the Spider-Man annual and all that. I just love Spider-Man so much. Yeah, it's one of those, one of those things that you just love to pieces, and I do. I happen to love Spider-Man to pieces. I have learned a lot in this year, and so far I have not been conned out of my money. My brother really helps me out in making sure that I don't get scammed out of my money. I am really grateful for him for being eBay savvy. I mean, he's like, oh, if you get scammed, I'll get your money back and everything. So I'm really grateful for him for that. He may not understand comic books, but he understands that I'm spending money on eBay, and he understands that part. So, yeah. So that is my video explaining what I have learned in the year that I have been collecting comics. And as I think I mentioned this before, I will be giving you guys a complete list of how many comics that I have in my collection. And I'm going to say I've got a lot of comics in my collection. I'm really seriously considering getting a storage space. But yeah, so I am going to end it here. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And until next time, nerds, keep reading. Bye.